Hey, it's Katie, and welcome back to my booktube channel. Today's video is a spoiler-free review of Things We Never Got Over by Lucy Score. This is probably my favorite book I've read this year, and I've read over 60 books, so that's saying a lot. And I just wanted to gush about it and tell you guys what I thought, so let's jump into it. This book is told from dual perspectives. So on one hand, we have Knox, who lives in this small town called Knockemout, Virginia, and he is a barber and owns like a whole bunch of businesses in town, but he is super grumpy and he kind of likes to live his life alone. He hasn't dated in forever, and the only person he likes to be around, or I guess creature he likes to be around, is his basset hound, and he really doesn't want to deal with anybody else. And then on the other hand, we have Naomi, and she basically runs away from her wedding because her estranged twin calls her for help. And she ends up in Knockemout, Virginia to meet her twin, but when she gets there, her twin steals her car, all of her money, and leaves her with an 11-year-old niece she didn't know she had. So like I said, this is dual POV, and also this has the most immaculate small town vibes, okay? Like, if you love books that take place in small towns like I do, this is the book for you. It just feels like such a community. Like, I can't even really describe it, but there's scenes at like a local coffee shop, a barber shop, a local library, at the local bar. Like, it's just literally like you can picture this small town and you fall in love with so many different people in the town. All the side characters are so good, and it just has the best community feel to it, and I loved the atmosphere of this book so much. And then this is also Grumpy Sunshine. I know I mentioned earlier that Knox is super grumpy and doesn't really want to be around anybody. And then we have Naomi, who is a super selfless person, and she will do whatever it takes to take care of the people that she cares about. And she's just super funny and sweet, and she is just like this ray of sunshine, and it's the perfect Grumpy Sunshine. I adored them. This book is also on Kindle Unlimited, which I forgot to mention, so definitely go check that out if you have Kindle Unlimited. It's totally worth it. And I had really high expectations before starting this book because my favorite booktuber, Larissa from Larry Reads, recommended it. I saw her TikTok about it, and between her review and this really pretty cover, I knew I had to read it, and it 1000% exceeded all of my expectations. I love every character in this book with my whole heart. Like, by the end of this book, they genuinely feel like home, and they're just like one big happy family, and I felt like I was a part of that family. I can't even describe how much I care about each and every one of them. Not only just the main characters, like of course I loved Knox, Naomi, and Waylay, which is the 11-year-old niece. But I also just loved all the side characters that we meet throughout the community. They all have like this purpose to play in the book, but they're just, I don't know, they're all so sweet and they all take care of each other, and I love it so much. Like I said, Knox is super grumpy, but he is also so protective of the people that he cares about, whether it's his brother or Waylay and Naomi or just anybody in the community that he cares about. He is so protective, and he will do anything to take care of them, and also will like literally fight for them. And it's just so sweet because he's so grumpy and pretends like he doesn't care, but you know that he does because of his actions. And then Naomi is one of my favorite heroines I've ever read. She is just so selfless and kind and just cares for people so deeply and will do whatever it takes to care for them and to help them. And she's also really funny and sarcastic and just like this, I don't know, sunshine character, which I already said, but she's like one big ball of sunshine, and I would love to be friends with her if I could. She's just so sweet, and I loved every second I got to spend in her head. And then watching the relationship between Naomi, Knox, and Waylay bloom was just so heartwarming. Like, even their relationships like individually, so like seeing Naomi connect with Waylay and help raise this 11-year-old girl that she didn't even know existed is just so sweet and like so empowering that they're able to connect. And then to see Nox and Naomi connect, obviously on like a romantic level, I love them together. They're one of my favorite couples I've ever read about. And then even Nox and Waylay had like this really cute connection, and he was kind of there to help guide her. And I don't know, I just can't even describe how much I loved watching them all connect. I feel like this review is kind of all over the place because when I really love a book this much, I can't even fully express like what these characters mean to me. This book had angst and passion, but it also had really heartwarming moments that were like really meaningful and gave me like butterflies. And I just loved every part of this book. It's like atmospheric and fun, but also just so sweet. And I'm like running out of adjectives. This book is like just so positive. Everything I feel toward this book is positive. I never wanted this book to end. Like, this book is pretty thick. It's like 550 or 60 pages. So it's a pretty big book in terms of like typical rom-coms, but I didn't want it to end. And by the time I got to the end, I cried because I didn't want to say goodbye to these characters, and they just meant so much to me. I already want to reread this book. I can tell I will be rereading this book so many times because I want to keep hanging out with these characters and just seeing how they all interact with each other. And I really hope that this is not the last time that we are in Knockemout, Virginia. I hope that Lucy Score will write more books in this city because I feel like there's so many more stories to be told. There's so many other relationships that were kind of like set up in this book, and I really hope that Lucy Score follows through and like writes those romances because I will read all of them. Like Sloane and Lucien, I would love to see their romance. I feel like there's so much there, and I have a lot of questions about them. And then also there's like a little spark between Nash and another character we see in here, and there's just so many stories I would love to have told. And I really hope Lucy Score ends up writing them. I'll read more Lucy Score no matter what. I adore her writing, and the fact that she was able to make me fall for these characters so deeply is impressive. So I will be reading more from her regardless, but I do hope that we get to see more from this little town. I think I already said it, but this is 1000% the best book I've read this year. I've read a ton of books, but this is my favorite. It has connected to me the most. It gives me the same feeling that It Happened One Summer by Tessa Bailey gave me. And I'm not saying that those books are similar at all. I think the only thing that's similar is that it gives you like small town vibes and it's also Grumpy Sunshine. But other than that, they're completely different books. But there's just something about how I felt while reading both of those books and like the way that I felt so connected to all of those characters that like this is that book for me. It Happened One Summer was my favorite book of all of 2021, and I have a feeling that this book will stick with me for the rest of this year and probably for years to come. So please go read this. I know I'm like hyping it up a lot, but it's genuinely like a really sweet romance, and I would love to have more people to talk about it with. So please go pick this one up, and if you do end up reading it, please let me know in the comments or reach out to me on Instagram or Goodreads or something. I would love to gush about this book and these characters. Okay, so those are all of my thoughts for Things We Never Got Over by Lucy Score. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe to my channel. And if you do subscribe, please click the notification bell so you know when I upload next. Thank you guys so much for watching. I can't wait to see you in my next video.